So welcome back to part 5 of my unofficial Great Guitar build series. In this episode I'll go through how I made the fretboard. So the first thing as always is to get a centerline set up. And with that done, I'm just going to mark it up now and rough trim it. With that roughed out, I'll just clean this up with a hand plane. To cut the fret slots, I'm going to use my trusty old fret slotting jig, and I also use one of Crimson's fret scale jigs for this. Might have just glued myself to the fretboard there. So the way this works is the fretboard on the template fits into the jig, locates on the little pin, you cut your slot, move it to the next location and repeat that until you've gone all the way down the fretboard. Okay, let's get cutting. So that's the fret slots. The next job, get the radius on the fretboard. Now to do the radius, I'm going to use a radius block. Actually, again, Crimson. But that is quite a lot of work to get a 12-inch radius onto one of these boards just by sanding it. So to start with, I'm going to take some of the bulk off with a very, very finely set hand plane. Okay, so that's fairly close now, and all I'm going to do is put a load of pencil on. Theoretically, once I rub the pencil off, we're there. And there we are, the radius is sanded in. Next I'm going to go back in with the saw. I've set a depth stop up to the depth of the tang of the fret, and I'm just going to make sure that these fret slots are still deep enough. The next job I'm going to tackle is to mark out and install the fretboard markers. If ever there was a job where measure twice, cut once is applicable, it's this one. I've seen plenty of people mark them wrong and put them in the wrong places, so I'm going to take this one very steady and make sure I do it right. Having done that, I'll put the side markers in, and then that will be this element of the job done. So obviously all that sanding has taken my centerline off, so my first job, take a nice sharp pencil and put that back in. So with the centerline done, I'm just going to mark which positions have a marker. So we'll go over 3, 5, 7, 9, 12, 15, 17, 19, 21. We're good to go. And then with that done, I'm just going to find the centre of those positions by striking diagonals with the ruler. So with these positions checked and double checked, I'm just going to pop a centre mark for each of them. So now just take this to the drill press and drill the recesses out. So I've set the depth stop on my drill to just over 2mm below the top surface. So that'll allow me to recess the dots in but still leave a little bit to flush off. And now all I'm going to do is simply glue them in with a little drop of super glue. They are actually quite a nice tight fit. Okay, with them glued in, a quick pass with the sanding block just to flush them back to the fretboard. The dots on the top edge will just be formed with this plastic rod that I'll glue into the fretboard. So I've just eyeballed a line down the top of the fretboard, and now I'm just going to measure each of the frets where there needs to be a marker and place it halfway. And there's the top markers done, and the front. So that's most of the fretboard sorted out now. I've still got to trim it down to size, but I'll do that nearer the point of needing it. I think it's going to look really nice with a coat of oil on it. A couple of weeks ago I asked people to give me their opinions of how I should finish this guitar, and I gave 3 options. The first being just a standard clear finish, the second one being the white paint that I intended to put on the guitar, and the third one is a translucent white finish with a burst around the edge to hide the damage on the body timber. I've had a really good response to that, and funnily enough I've had a fourth option that seemed to be mentioned by a lot of people, and that was a pretty standard Gibson-like cherry red finish. I've got a lot of time left before I need to think about the finish. There's still a couple of weeks of work to do before we get to that stage, so I've decided I'm going to keep that going, and I'm going to add in the fourth finish. So if you would like to see it in a cherry finish, drop a comment below, or if you want one of the other 3 original finishes, let me know, and a bit nearer the time I will choose which ones had the most votes. So again, thanks for watching. It really does mean a lot that you take time out to watch these videos. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next episodes as they come up. Thanks a lot. Goodbye.